Bongkuch Promsin entered the world on February 12, 1962, in the village of Don Kha, Nakhon Sawan Province, Thailand. His father, Promsin, served as the principal of a local school, a person with educational standing but constrained financial resources. From the early stages of coherent speech, and possibly even earlier, Bongkuch began alluding to a previous life, gradually unveiling details to his family. He asserted an origin from Hua Tanon, a village approximately 9 kilometers from Don Kha, providing names such as Shamrat, the person whose life he claimed to recollect, and Shamrat's parents. Bongkuch narrated ownership of specific items, including a knife and a bicycle, and mentioned 2 cattle associated with the family, despite them not owning any in this lifetime. His vivid account detailed a gruesome incident where 2 men murdered him during a fair in Hua Tanon, stabbing him, stealing his wristwatch and neck chain, and subsequently dragging his body into a field. Remarkably, Bongkuch conveyed these details at the tender age of about 2. According to his narrative, after Shamrat's demise, he spent approximately 7 years on a tree near the murder site. One rainy day, he claimed to have seen his present father and accompanied him home on a bus. Bongkuch's father recalled having been in Hua Tanon shortly before his wife's pregnancy, attending a meeting during rainfall. Bongkuch's mother, Hua Promsin, had ventured into the area where the murder occurred in search of bamboo shoots before conceiving him. However, the time frame of this exploration in relation to her pregnancy remains undisclosed, with an assurance that she had not entered the section of Hua Tanon where Shamrat's family resided. Promsin, due to his professional role, had some familiarity with school teachers from Hua Tanon, but lacked any personal connections or acquaintances in that locality. Both he and his wife asserted their unfamiliarity with Shamrat, the 18-year-old murder victim. In a village with a history of high murder rates, news of such incidents might circulate to nearby areas like Don Kha. However, considering the prevalence of violence in the region, residents couldn't be expected to recall every past murder. Furthermore, the murder of Shamrat had transpired over a decade before Bongkuch started discussing it, leading to the likelihood that his parents had heard about it but had given it little attention and soon forgotten. Shamrat's family got wind of Bongkuch's statements, prompting some members to visit him in Don Kha when he was around 2.5 years old. Subsequently, he visited Hua Tanon with his family, resulting in the verification of almost all the details Bongkuch had shared about the previous life. However, certain specifics about Shamrat's murder, such as the stabbing details, could not be verified due to the absence of an autopsy. One of the murderers fled swiftly, and the other, though arrested and tried, was acquitted due to insufficient evidence. Nevertheless, some police officers involved in the investigation recalled the murder vividly, confirming certain aspects of Bongkuch's statements, including the names of the suspected murderers. News of the case was covered in Thai newspapers in March 1965. Bongkuch's peculiar conduct drew as much attention from his family as did his discussions about the previous life. During the period when he was most vocal about it, he displayed behaviors that his family deemed unsavory, including what they considered unclean hand-washing habits, and he frequently used words that confounded his parents. Additionally, he exhibited a distinct preference for foods not commonly consumed or enjoyed by his family. It later emerged that Shamrat's family, hailing from Laos, had different cleanliness standards than the Thais, and Bongkuch's unfamiliar words were in fact Laotian. While I hesitate to suggest strong xenoglossy, the ability to speak an unlearned language, none of Bongkuch's family members employed the Laotian words he uttered, making it unlikely that he acquired them through normal means. His food preferences, such as sticky rice, aligned more closely with Laotian culinary traditions than with his own Thai family's tastes. Bongkuch harbored an enduring resentment towards Shamrat's murderers, expressing years-long threats of vengeance. Engaging in what seemed like imaginary combat, he occasionally practiced beating on a post with a small stick, symbolizing Shamrat's killers, while vocally calling out their names. Similar to many subjects in these cases, Bongkuch occasionally viewed himself as an adult unjustly confined within a child's body. Displaying what I term attacks of adulthood, he adopted adult-like behaviors, such as brushing his teeth like an adult and, on at least one occasion, requesting a shave from the local barber. Ignoring girls his own age, he made advances towards postpubertal young ladies, leaving them startled and alarmed. However, his behavior wasn't exclusively inappropriate. At times, he expressed a desire to join the order of Buddhist monks, requesting or fashioning a monk's costume. These seemingly conflicting aspects of Bongkuch's nature resonated with attitudes reasonably attributed to Shamrat. At the time of Shamrat's death, he had a girlfriend to whom he was more or less engaged, alongside a strong interest in Buddhism and an expressed intention of becoming a monk, an interest not incompatible with marriage. As many young Thai men temporarily become monks before returning to lay life and marrying. As Bongkuch matured, his recollections of the previous life gradually waned. In his village, some peers playfully dubbed him the boy with two lives, potentially influencing him to claim forgetting more memories than he genuinely had. Regardless, he ceased discussing these memories with others, likely having forgotten most of them by the age of 10. Simultaneously, his unusual behavior, intertwined with the remembered experiences, diminished, and he underwent a normal developmental trajectory. When Dr. Ian Stevenson last encountered him in 1980 at 18, he was a student in Nakhon Sawan, displaying a lingering preference for sticky rice, a vestige of Laotian influence. In 1995, Dr. Jürgen Kiel revisited this case. Since Stevenson's initial investigation, some informants, including Bongkuch's father and both of Shamrat's parents, had passed away. Nevertheless, those still living, such as Bongkuch's mother and Shamrat's older stepbrother, provided Dr. Kiel with accounts consistent with Stevenson's findings almost 3 decades earlier. During a lengthy interview with Bongkuch, now 33, Dr. Kiel learned about his post-high school endeavors, culminating in a degree in physical education. Bongkuch had married at 25 and had a 6-year-old daughter. Employed in the Post and Telegraph Service in a Nakhon Sawan Province town, he had cultivated a deep interest in Buddhism, reminiscent of Shamrat. Bongkuch revealed he maintained a room with numerous Buddhist statues and amulets, engaging in regular meditation. In 1995, Bongkuch conveyed that as a young boy, he could recall around 60% of Shamrat's life. However, by 1995, this percentage had dwindled to a mere 2%, requiring a relaxed mental state to retrieve even that. He identified 3 events from his childhood that had triggered these memories: hearing the northeastern Thai dialect closely related to Laotian, receiving a scolding from his father, and passing through Hua Tanon, Shamrat's former village.